I hope everyone has practiced all the elements, and also I have given all the sufficient information, notes, etc. For going through, especially the lab and of course the theoretical part also. Yeah. No questions from Jyoti. Karunya also no questions. Okay, that's okay. Prithvi, any questions? Yeah. In this AWS Shield, this is managed DDoS protection. So this denial of service or distributed denial of service protection service means, like generally if the servers are kept open, especially like a web services or maybe anything like a database services or anything which is kept open across internet, these hackers come across and then they throw away like what they kind of SYN request. I think there is. Okay, some of you might be aware of this kind of attacks which happen. What they generally do is that in DDoS, like I give an example. There is an e-commerce website. There is an e-commerce website, and the competitors always try to see that their site also needs to be activated. So what they do is that they flood a kind of SYN request or maybe ACK request or something like that in order to see that the website is not available to the users. It can be even hackers also for name and fame or whatever it is. This DDoS, what happens is that in DDoS, what happens is that all external users, they see, like we as a user, we try to connect to the websites, right? So how the handshake happens, we request the website some information. This is in the form of SYN. SYN means synchronize. So it will ask, and the server reflects back by saying acknowledge. Right. This is a normal handshake. So once this handshake happens, then the connection is established. So these users, what they will do, instead of sending one request or two requests, they will create thousands and thousands or millions of fake requests to the server. So the server cannot handle all the requests at the same time. Sometimes it so happens that not one, from 10 or 15 or 20 or 100 systems, it will be sent even to one single system. So then naturally the network requests coming across from multi directions, that is abnormal multi requests coming into the server, gets collapsed. So in that way the server cannot respond back to the normal users also. In this way denial of service really gives the users unavailability. So how do you stop this? So there is a kind of hardenings, all these things which are there. So this AWS Shield will protect for a kind of protection for all the AWS infrastructure. Here in AWS Shield there are two tiers. One is standard, the other is advanced. Please remember, this is very, very important. Standard is free for all the users. Is free for all the users. I tell you, free means free for all the users. Advanced means, especially when yesterday when I was speaking about the support, yeah, I hope you are aware of this support plans. So when I was speaking about this, I'll a little bit magnify. So this basic support is for all, is free, and we have developer, business and enterprise. These are all priced. These three are priced. So naturally this Shield is applicable for all standard users, free of cost. You can see here all benefit this automatic protections Shield standards. So there are some common services which are there, common services at no additional charges which are there, like frequently occurring network and transport layer. These two layers are very, very important to mitigate this DDoS attacks. So the target of your website, when you are using AWS Shield standard with Amazon CloudFront and Route 53, you receive comprehensive availability protection. So these two services are managed here for standard. So if you want to have higher levels, then you need to choose for Amazon advanced. In advanced, your applications running on EC2, ELB, CloudFront, Global Accelerator, and of course Route 53, all these things is advanced. So this is a bit charged. Okay, so now you need to understand about AWS Shield Advanced also give you 24/7 access to. So this is not free of cost, this is charged as I mentioned. So from the DRT, this the DDoS response team, there is a DRT. Please remember, this is a very important question in your exam. So you can see this DRT, protection against DDoS. DRT means it is the DDoS response team. Spikes in your EC2 clouds. See, cloud spikes means abnormal requests coming across. These are called as spikes. Normally, if you expect about 100 transactions or 100, I mean, like in a 1 minute or something, it's normal, quite normal. You know the load, how much it comes, basically based on that. But if there is an abnormal millions of requests coming across in 1 minute, then there is some issue, because it will not happen like that. Then these things will, shield will definitely play a very important. Okay, so this is about a shield. You can connect this shield to almost all the services which you have hosted across on EC2 or whatever it is. So then this will be protected. You can protect web applications anywhere in the world, okay, by using this CloudFront in front of your application. So origin can be, as I mentioned, all the above. So these things can be used across. Okay. So now the next important service which I wanted to mention is personal health guard. Please remember, this again again an important security service. What it does, personal health guard, like we have a doctor, personal health guard, who always tracks each and everything. Hey, you should eat this, you should do that, you should behave, you should take precaution like this, all these things, like personal, when he is a personal doctor. Same thing here also, personal health guard, technology and tools to monitor, manage and optimize your environment, how you should improve your health or something like that. All these kind of things is done for the resources which you want to really have it in your personal health guard. Provides alerts and remedial guidance when AWS is experiencing events that impact you. So here you can see that the important elements are, for all the AWS services, personal health guard gives you a personalized view. This is not free, remember, but you can give a personalized view into the performance. This is like something which who is telling you something proactively after verifying all the things, based on verifying means it is monitoring, and also giving a instruction set. You should have this kind of diet, or you should have something like that. So same thing here also, a plan manage and optimize your environment. Services underlining your AWS services. The dashboard displays about relevant and timely information to help you to manage events in progress. Okay, provides proactive notification to help you plan for scheduled activities. With personal health board, alerts are triggered by changes by the health of AWS resources, giving the event visibility. You can even go through, like I'll show you here. When I say personal health, you just type it here. You can click the service and see this one. You can select your services which are there. So it is giving an overview, what are all the open issues or schedule changes or notifications. And you can also create an alerts. Okay, we will speak about Amazon CloudWatch. There is a detailed session for CloudWatch. Till that time, CloudWatch, you can think that it is a kind of what we call as monitoring the services. Monitoring means like CPU usage, or maybe like disk in, disk out, network in, network out, all these kind of activities it will show you. And it will also show you graphs also, like a line graph, a bar graph, or whatever it is. All this kind of graphs also it will show you the past. And you can export this graphs into your presentations also. And one more thing, in CloudWatch you can also set alarms. This is one important feature in this particular. We will have a detailed session, because you know that there are events which have been, events means an occurring. So based on that, if you set like an alarm, my CPU usage is more than 60%, I should get a notification. I can do that by setting an alarm. So what alarm? The alarm can be received by to your mailbox or SMS or whatever it is. You can have a trigger like that. These are called as alarms. It doesn't do anything. It will only send you an alert. So these events are collected, and you can set up the alerts using this CloudWatch. So all these open issues which will be there, so to where you need to take up action or something like that. So if there are any changes which needs to be, you can take up across. So the event log also can be gone through this particular one like this. So this is about the dashboard, about personal health board. Okay, and if you say the shield also, WAF and shield. I think this is WAF is nothing but web application firewall. Okay, so again this is basically protection from your DDoS. DDoS. You can see this one, create a web ACL. ACL is nothing but access control list, where you can create some rules. Okay, so once you select this shield, you can have getting started, and you can select your infrastructure and protect from the resources, whether it is EC2 or whatever it is. Those are advanced. These are advanced. Okay, otherwise basic things are like, you can see this one, pricing is $3,000 a month, which will protect against all the infrastructure which is available, right? So this is about in brief about this personal health dashboard, and of course security bulletins. So this is actually this is a promotional activity. Security bulletins is like what is that? Is like we subscribe to any activities. So similarly, the same way here we do have the subscriptions. You can subscribe to, and whatever the happenings related to security will be posted. It can be attacks or threats or new what we call as trojans or anything which are there. It will be notified through mails. So you can do that. Subscribe to our services. This is the web link, awsamazon.com security bulletin RSS. This is free of cost for all. There is no charge for this security bulletins. Okay, that is as I mentioned yesterday, for the support plans. Okay, customer services, all the support forums and documentation, this is free for everyone. That is about security bulletins. Now the very important one is AWS Well Architected. Please remember this one. There are 5 pillars inside this Well Architected. So we need to know about all these 5 pillars. See, Well Architected means, see like this, oh, this is well organized, this organization is well organized, this house is well organized. How do you say that? There are many factors which are there when we want to say well architected. So learn, measure, build across the well. So here you can say the best practices or whatever it is. See, as I mentioned earlier, customer will always focus on cost, performance, reliability. Okay, and of course the other 2 areas, naturally it comes along with all is security and operational excellence. So these are the 5 pillars which are there. You task any customer, you touch any customer, he will only say my cost should be reduced or optimized. He wants all the services or more services with efficiency and reliability. It should be available at all times, and it should be secure. So, and also the operational excellence also, oh, this technology is really helping me a lot, like that. So what are all the 5 pillars which are there? So as I mentioned this one. So you need to know each and every pillar very clearly, and also there are some factors which are helping into those what we call as the 5 pillars. So here let me explore a little bit further into all these pillars. So the first one, if I can say, you can remember in any order, there is no order for this one. If you want to go for cost optimization first, see, I like cost optimization because customers' attention will come. Cost optimization pillar, focus on avoiding unnecessary costs. See, even in every organization also, knowingly or unknowingly, we spend a lot of costs. See, one department A buys some licenses or some infrastructure, department B something like that, because every department has their own budgets, every department has their own bosses. The spending limit. Sometimes it so happens that department A or department B buys all the things, but they don't use for a period of time. So how will basically for a period of time, or they might forget also because they have budget, they bought it like that. So this cost optimization generally helps the overall management to take some decisions. Key topics include the controlling where money is being spent, selecting the most appropriate and right number of resource types. Please remember, the right number of resource types is very important for you. We give, oh okay, since he has budget about 10 lakhs, we have given a beautiful server, but the usage is not at all even 5% or 10% or 20%. So then what needs to be? It needs to be optimized. It needs to be alerted to the top management, and they will take up action accordingly. Analyzing spends over time and scaling to meet the business needs without overspending. So it gives a overall insight, how much cost we are spending and how much is the utilization. Cost versus utilization will definitely alert the customers where the wastage is. This is called as cost optimization pillar. So there will be definitely a lot of insights. So we have insights also in AWS. So where it will give you in the graphical format. Okay. So then next is I take up this one for admins, especially operational excellence pillar. So what exactly is the operational excellence? So there are many times which we generally use this particular resources, like sometimes it is may not be real to the value what customer is expecting, or sometimes we may see a series of failures or series of process which is affecting the operations, etc. So all these things can be monitored basically, and you can also take up changes to derive the maximum optimization. Maximum optimization means the performance needs to be delivered to the mark. So this can be delivered to the mark means like sometimes some kind of even removing some junk files also will improve. Junk process also will remove, like I can say stale or zombie process or something like that, which even structs your what we call as how will these things get alert, or sometimes a switch also can really give a problem. So we need to analyze the entire infrastructure. Sometimes we need to make a changes also and respond to events. So sometimes the thing is that like the services are all optimized. One stupid demo program can kill all the other performances also. Something like that. Something like some code also might hurt, or some codes will be in a round robin way. Like it takes up loops and then it brings out the operating. So these things also will be known in this operational excellence pillar. So next one is the reliability pillar. You can see this pillar. This is also very important. This reliability pillar focus on ensuring the workload performs intention. Please remember this one. This is asked for exam and also for use cases especially. A resilient workload quickly recovers from failures. So recovers from failures is nothing but the incident management. Okay, that is the main focus of this one. Quickly recovers. That is the business objective, to meet the business and customer demand. Key topics include distributed design, recovery planning, and how to handle the change. So please understand, this reliability pillar is also well architected. So now next is the performance efficiency. Naturally, from time to time, customer expects that there should be some kind of performance improvements. Today you have focused, you say that I have given an uptime of about 99%. Tomorrow he'll ask you 99.2, 99.3, 99.5, like that. So this is called as performance efficiency. Key topics include selecting the right resource type and right sizes and workload requirements, monitoring performance, and making informed decisions to maintain efficiency as business needs evolve. So and the last one is the security pillar. This is again a backbone of all the services. I'll tell you, this one stupid activity, one hack or one what kind of the entire business collapse. So we see often so and so business has been hacked. So the next day all customers will change from that from that vendor to another vendor. Pillar focus on protecting the information and systems. Key topics include like confidentiality, integrity. So these are the three topics which are there. Security always focus. You all might be aware. One is confidentiality. What is confidentiality? Delivering the right message to the right people only, not to everyone. Maybe he is your subordinate, he is your boss, or he is somewhat like that. No, the relevant information to be given only to the relevant people. So that is called as confidentiality. It should not be broadcasted or it should not be restricted. So and integrity is nothing but the trustworthiness. How much worthy the trustfulness is there. Suppose if you are a boss in a purchase department and if you are tendering for a particular activity at a client's location, so you are the ultimate person to define the tender. Suppose if you know the value what you are quoting, and if you give for sake of money to someone else the value so that he may win purposefully and you may gain monetarily what perks he is offering, so this is not integrity. So I'll tell you, when you join the organization, any organization, they'll give bunch of papers for you to sign. So most of the papers are related to integrity. So all this confidentiality, integrity, and availability are the three pillars of security, I tell you. So availability means whether it is a server should be available, whether the infrastructure should be available, or including your availability should also always be there. If you abscond without notice, then it will be a problem. it is against the security. So, so manage who can do with privilege management, protecting systems, establishing controls to detect all the security events. So, this cost optimization pillar, okay, this is the next one is operational excellence, okay, reliability pillar, performance efficiency pillar, security pillar, all these 5 pillars are considered as well architected. Okay, please go through this topic, very very important, especially when you are creating a use case. So, what is the effective thing is that to reduce the less risks, recording your improvements, evaluating your workloads, of almost all the activities will be there. Okay, so this is well architected tool is available at no cost, but it is you have to do. The tool is available in the console. You can see this particular one. I will show you. You can say well architected tool. So, here you need to define your own resources and bring out what are all the things. It will do only an analysis, a kind of analysis, and then define a workload. You can define and a description, review or production or pre-production, the regions, etc. And then you can say next is apply the lenses. So, this is you need to define the workload first in the well architected tool. So, you can see, please go through. Mainly, especially this can be used for management tools. Okay, this may not be used by generic technical team, but it can be done by like a account manager or maybe security managers, etc. Well architected. Okay, so now next one is this is again a very very important tool, which is artifact. So, when I say about artifact, I hope if there are any questions, please do ask me. What is this artifact? So, whenever you hear a word called as compliance, so compliance, remember that in exam or wherever you are, when customer is talking something about compliance reports, artifact is the tool. So, what is compliance? Compliance means adhering to standards. So, whenever you define a standard, okay, it can be related to audit also, you can say. So, every organization, you know that audits happen. So, there are many type of audits which happens in the organization. So, briefly if you say, like first kind of audit is your what we call as internal audits. Okay, internal audits means your company quality team quality team or maybe risk team or whatever it is, they do the projects which you run across. So, those are first type of internal audits which we say. The next type of audits which generally people go through is the customer audits. So, customer, if they want to do an audit. Audit means it is a kind of verification. So, the agreed services are there. So, whether the services agreed are meeting the standards or meeting the that is called as compliance. So, for this type, especially in the industries like payment card industry, PCI, we also say anything related to finance, like you can say all these things, credit card, debit card, bankings, all these things comes under PCA. So, naturally they have to adhere all this compliance. So, whenever customer is coming from on site or from his site to your location and he is doing, this is called as external audit. So, this is a bit naturally they have that privilege to do this audits also. You have to basically define, yes, we are following all the standards. And there is a third type of audit also which happens, neither you nor customer will do. Customer will appoint a third person, like the customer may be a pharma client, he may not know the complete procedures of audit. So, he will say that, hey Mr. Microsoft, come and do my system audit. So, that is a third party audit, and that is very very dangerous. So, they are a very neutral party. So, they come and see all the infrastructure and then they verify and then they produce the reports to the sponsor who has asked for that. So, naturally these compliance reports are very very important. So, here this artifact is a service, AWS service, which is no cost, self-service portal, on demand access to AWS compliance reports. So, you get these reports basically once you set across the standards, it provides an on demand access to AWS security and compliance reports. So, you have even certain standard audit controls like SOC, you might have heard about SOC, that is service organizational control, where they have already their standard set. Okay, there are even in India also there are PWC, not PWS, PWC PricewaterhouseCooper, or maybe some other standards also who are there, even where they come, their requirement is only to audit basically. So they have already the standards which are there. So based on the standards, if we have any deviations, yes, it will be reporting, and based on that, if there are any non-conformances, we say as NCs. If there are any NCs, we need to take up action plan. So it is a clear-cut indication that if we do not meet, okay, then there can be a risk, a potential risk which may come across. So that is the reason why we always have a kind of audit. So this kind of organizations, especially, they expect audit also time to time. Some people do every year, or some people once in 6 months, or once in 2 years, whatever it is. So naturally, for doing this audits also, agreements are also available. So if Amazon comes to know, and if they see the audit reports, they may even discuss these audit reports to the clients. So naturally, agreements available with artifact include this what you say, BA and NDA. So business association addendum and NDA, non-disclosure agreement. So what that means, that whatever is the information between you and Amazon will not be shared to others, non-disclosure. So that is the biggest advantage of a non-disclosure agreement. Whatever is known to you should not, even every person also signs this NDA when they join in any organization. Whatever is the business related activities, we don't discuss. We only discuss during interviews only the best practices. Oh, I learned this, I did that, but we are not supposed to tell about any what we call as the pricing factors, nothing like that. So the benefits which is when we are doing an audit control compliance reports is the access all the auditor issued reports, certifications, accreditations, this is all free, as you said that for the infrastructure which is available. Agreement governance, deep insights, please go through, these are all self-explanatory. Okay, now the next service, which is Cognito. You can see this particular one, artifact also in this. So this is compliance reports and agreements. You can go through the selected infrastructure which you want to audit. Based on the general, you can see the view reports are there. If you have any, these are all standards. You can see, you can select any of the standards. If you want to download the reports, yes, you can report. Suppose if I want to download something, FISMA, okay, FISMA is this, or maybe PCA also should be there, payment card industry, ISO 27001 certification reports also are there. If you want to download, yes, you can download the report. These are standards which are there. So now you know, if you have selected a particular one like PCA standards, yes, you can go through and download the report. So these all are free of cost. Okay. So it has downloaded. So this is a standard what the set which has been set. Okay. So now where is the terms and conditions? If you do not see this, okay, the paperclip icon. Now where is that? Okay, it should be in the attachment. So please open manually, don't open through the browser. You can see in this read mode. Yeah, this attachment is there. Now you can see the entire report of this particular one. See the certificate, Amazon. See, they are giving you, and now the compliances will be there. Scope of this certificate. Okay, this is one attachment which is there. Okay, this is the attachment which is there. You can go through this, right? So similarly, whatever is the type of reports which you want, you can download accordingly. So this will be much helpful for the quality team or risk team who will be doing all these things. But you should know that there is a concept called as artifact. See, as I told you very clearly, customer is very much worried about security. very much worried about security, all the resources. So you have to give him a kind of awareness that this is what Amazon cloud computing is following. For that we are going through all these things. If he doesn't get, or if we don't really perceive that his servers or his infrastructure which is hosted virtually doesn't follow all the security things which are there, he'll be in a bit risky. He'll feel that, he'll say no, don't go, don't do, please follow the current way. So that is what which is been discussed here. So artifact. Now let us move ahead with Cognito. This is again another service which is there. Simple, secure user sign up, sign in and access control. So here most of them, if you want to use some mobile devices, okay, some people like approving or maybe even logging in or at least taking up the tickets, etc., whatever it is, through mobile phones. So naturally these mobile phones also needs to be connected to the AWS infrastructure. How do you do that? Not only mobile, portable devices or maybe your tabs or any other devices which are there. So like providers like Apple or FB or Google, Amazon, whatever it is. So these things will be accessed to the AWS infrastructure using this Cognito. Okay, lets you to add users to sign up, sign in and access control to your web and mobile devices quickly. Yesterday we saw about like how we can add to Google Authenticator your mobile device. So it can authenticate. Similarly, this Cognito also will work. Scales to millions of users that support sign in with the social identity providers such as all these things. So here enterprise SAML. What is this SAML? SAML is security assertion markup language. So this is a kind of like what we have seen, JSON or something like that, security markup language, which basically establishes security between your AWS infrastructure and your end devices, and also and an open ID connect. So this basically establishes a kind of trust. Okay, so this is about this Cognito. You have this say service also here. You can select Cognito. Credentials for federated identities. Federation means the devices which are distributed. Okay, manage user pools, manage identity pools. So add sign in and sign up, grant your users access to AWS services. Okay, I never use, but you can understand it offers user pools and identity pools. Okay, Cognito. So now next service, which is default one, which is called as a firewall, which is very, very important for us. Like we have gone through what we call as the most important one, like security groups. Okay, what is a security group? A security group is like if when we go to, where is this? Sorry, in EC2 you have this security groups. Okay, so what is the security group? It's basically it allows a service to connect to that particular instance or not, a service or a port, okay, or a network from a particular network or a users or a subnet or whatever it is. Same thing here. A firewall manager basically like is a security that allows you to centrally configure and manage firewall rules across your accounts and applications. So there in security group we can assign specifically to a server. Okay, if you are giving a common security group for all, okay, whatever the EC2 instances you can. But I'll tell you there is another service called as an organization. I'll explain first that about organization and then I'll come back to firewall. So what is AWS organization? Please understand this one. This is a very, very, very important service for us. Okay. Likewise, I give a business case. There is a finance department in an organization. There is a purchase department. There is a training department. There is a design department. Okay. There is maybe like a computer department or development department. So all of them are integrated in the organization. I do agree. But the finance department says that why my servers are visible to this purchase people, or purchase will say that why my servers are visible to design people, where it is not required. So naturally customers don't really, even though they are working in one umbrella, they will say that no, we want isolation. Naturally, even in when you say about IBM or any other organization also, they have a number of projects. All projects are totally isolated. Even the departments also, HR department has their own rules, or they don't allow others to view what they are doing. Similarly, the finance department has their own way of working. So all these things needs to be isolated. If the servers are all visible, servers data also can be visible, then they will feel that they are in risk. So what they do is that in general they deploy, everyone has their own user accounts. Accounts are different. The finance team has a different account, okay, or maybe purchase team has a different account, like we login account, the root account itself, okay. So in that way the accounts are distributed. One account for finance, one account for purchase, one account for payroll, or maybe one account for design and maintenance, or maybe development, or maybe like that. Imagine there are 10 accounts in an organization. So who will consolidate all these things? So consolidation can happen through AWS organizations. So what is the biggest benefit in if you consolidate? There are some big benefits also. First big benefit is that the consolidated billing can be done. What is the biggest benefit of consolidated billing? There are, like I tell you, you go to the market, okay, you want to buy a mango. He'll ask, hey, what is the price of the mango? He'll say that, no sir, each mango is about 25 rupees. Okay, but I want to buy 100 mangoes. So will he charge about 25 into 100, that is 2500? No, it will be lesser. The pricing comes down because of the reduced overheads. He has a lot of he'll say that, sir, you can take it for 1500 rupees. I am giving 1000 rupees discount. Same thing here also. When you have different departments and a consolidated account, when you want to buy a new infrastructure or when you want to have infrastructure, you can get a consolidated discounts that Amazon is going to give. Okay, and also it has an easy what we call as for the person who is an account manager to take decisions how much exactly he is billing, he is paying. That consolidated view. So this AWS organizations, but the working people will work in their own account. The working people will work in their own accounts everywhere. This organization will help you in centralizing all the accounts. So till that time, that please. So when you want to apply a policy to the organization, you can apply firewall manager to the organization also. Once you apply a policy to the a firewall manager policy to the organization, what will happen? All the associated accounts has to will get that policy. Is this clear? I hope it is clear. So same thing will allow you to centrally configure and manage firewall rules across your accounts and applications in AWS organizations. Please remember that. If there is any question, you can ask me. As new applications are created, because every servers or every department has their own accounts. So when any applications are created, so this firewall manager makes it easy to bring an application. It is like a firewall to the entire organization, like a gateway. Like you can also say like what we use generally like cyber roam or ASA firewalls, etc., which is there. So same thing across your organization, a dedicated firewall which manages configure rules across accounts and applications. I hope this is clear. So now, so whatever is the policy or whatever is the firewall policy, no, so and so accounts are not to be or so and so ports should not be opened, okay, like FTP port should not be, or maybe something like that. You can take a common decision across all the accounts. So if anyone is coming under AWS organizations in of an account, so the policy will automatically come into the picture. Create security policies and enforce to the consistent hierarchical manner. This is about this firewall manager. So what we are doing, the security groups is only a bit, only it applies for the server. Okay. So here WAF means it is nothing but web application firewall. Please remember that. It is a web application firewall. It's exclusively. Firewall is for the entire instance, or it can be RDS instance, or it can be any other infrastructure. But this is only for web application. Like web applications means it can be like your banking application, or maybe anything which is like your which is run on Apache or something like that. So for your load balancers, API gateway, that is, this is a dedicated for WAF. WAF is for web application. This firewall manager is for all the infrastructure. Okay. So this is about this firewall manager. Okay. So what does firewall do? It allows or denies based on the specified ports or services to the networks which you configure. This is called as firewall manager. Again I repeat, what does firewall really help you? There are two type of firewall. One is your system firewall, that is what which you have done earlier, and this is a kind of a network firewall. Network means for the entire organization. So once you define a policy, so what does this firewall do? It allows or denies for a service or a port. Port means like FTP, SSH, okay, Telnet, SMTP, www, etc., anything, HTTPS, everything. So it allows or denies. Okay. And it allows or denies to the external network whether that incoming traffic is allowed or not allowed or not. So this is called as firewall. So finally, firewall manager, you can associate your VPCs also naturally, your virtual private cloud. Of course, next week we have this class on VPC, and Amazon route resolvers, DNS firewall rules. All these rules can be managed, centrally managed. Right? The next one is guard duty. So this is also a security service. Let me focus on this one. This is basically the control is threat detection, like a guard, a security guard standing next to you. So you might be talking to some people, but what is the role of the security guards? They basically see all the time to protect you at all times. Whatever activity you do, they will protect you. Whether anyone is coming nearer or longer, or if they are speaking, or if they are coming or attacking, it will be done like this. Same thing here also, workload, the data for intelligent threat detection and continuous monitoring. So we explore a lot of websites. Sometimes we may get trojans planted, or sometimes there can be what we call as cookie stealings, etc. There are various type of what we call as attacks. If I tell about attacks, attacks is the things which is similar to threats. Okay, so attack is much higher than the threats. Threat is only a potential vulnerability, potential risk we call as threat, but attacks means something which we generally try to gain something in a forceful manner. So that is how we say as an attack. So these threats, basically there are various type of threats. It can be code malfunctioning or code loopholes which are there. The popular kind of threats of attacks which we see is some of you might have heard, like cross-site scripting attacks, SQL injection attacks, okay, especially in the website, or maybe some more elements like request forgery attacks, okay, and of course buffer overflow attacks. Okay, these are all the top attacks which are coming across. So this one basically what it continuously monitor the malicious activity. Please remember what is malicious activity. So I can tell you an easiest way of malicious activity. You can create a Trojan with help of tools. It's simple, and then you can upload into a website. How do you upload? Suppose if a job site person asks you to upload a resume, so you just rename the thread, okay, the code into .doc and then upload it. Finished. So now the threat is there in the server, and write some kind of scripts where that it gets executed, your server is hacked. So that kind of things which will be there. So the code needs to be verified, whatever it has been uploaded. It is not a workflow upload also. Someone asks you to upload a photograph, okay, like Facebook is there, everything is there. So instead of Facebook, a photograph, you can upload even what we call as a malicious activity also, a kind of code which misbehaves, and then account can be hacked. So this is what which you learn in ethical hacking also. Unauthorized behavior to protect your AWS accounts, workloads, data stored. So this one will monitor, this guard duty will monitor continuously whatever the activities which are coming across. So and also any kind of things which are there, not only monitors, it will also restrict the activities, but it can be like your antivirus firewalls which are there. This is also a kind of guard duty. So all this, it will analyze various kind of data also, like from coming from CloudTrail, which is also a part of our service which we will know. So all the CloudTrail is nothing but event logs of all the activities, VPC workflow logs, DNS logs, all this kind of logs. It proactively reads all the things, and if it figures out any malicious, then immediately it stops. So here by interacting with events, guard duty alerts that like using CloudWatch, etc., you can alert it also. So this is also very important security service you can configure. Now the other thing which is there, config. Yes, especially a process oriented organizations like I tell you HP, IBM, or even companies like HCL, or say maybe anything. So all the top MNC companies, they follow a process called as configuration management. So please understand this one. People often ignore this part, but MNCs really go through this configuration management. So what is this configuration? So today there are great efforts which are being made for configuration. Configuration is necessary for many things which are there. Like I tell you, today you are having a server. There should be a record of all the events, not only events, the configuration. You go to the shop, I want to buy an i3 laptop. So first thing is that he will explain you the configuration. Okay, I will give you this configuration. Is this okay? So what is the configuration? So it is an i3 which is having about 8 GB RAM memory, 1 TB of hard disk, or something like that. He will give you all the details about pertaining what you are doing. Same thing here also. You have a huge IT infrastructure. There should be a configuration. Tomorrow there is a requirement which has come. You upgrade the system, and then but you don't write it in the configuration. Still you will be buying 2 times, 3rd times also. There is no visibility to the top management. What is there they are having. And also the configuration not only restricts that buying or something like that. It also takes a vision. See, if you are facing a problem continuously 2 times, 3 times similarity within 1 month or 2 months time, then naturally configuration management reports to a high scale why this is coming periodically, to take up action in such a way. So like that, we don't know also incidents happen, we only try to solve the problem, but we don't see that why these incidents are coming time to time. It can be a problem management. So who will derive the problem management? This configuration will tell you, hey, in this configuration you already faced 3 times a problem within less than 2 months. There is something which we need to investigate. So otherwise that will affect the availability. So all these kind of things are really advanced. So some people manage everything in a spreadsheet. Some people have tools like ITSM, something like that. So which will help a configuration. This will help you to assess, audit and evaluate the configurations of AWS resources. And also it will reduce the wastages. Optimization. Continuously monitors and records your AWS resource configuration. This is more important. Resource configurations, whatever the resources which you are using, all these things will be monitored, and allows you to automate the evaluation recorded configurations against the desired configuration. So please remember, there are two here, recorded and desired. So what does this mean? Recorded means what is the thing which is existing. Desired means what is really required. Suppose you want to launch a web server, that is the desired one, and what is the recorded one. So see the gap. This configuration management will identify the gap and will definitely take an action plan. Okay, so if your desired plan is much lower than your recorded configuration, so I mean your recorded configuration is having higher resources than the desired, your wastage is high. Or maybe the other version also, if you are having about 10,000 transactions per minute or something like that, so there is a desired, okay, so but your recorded transactions are much lower, I mean your configuration is low, then you need to optimize. You need to either scale up, or maybe even AWS suggests you go for auto scaling or something like that whenever transactions happen. And in that way this configuration maintains a healthy what we call as resources. So this may not be completely security, but it also helps for security. Okay, so now the next important one, this config is also a tool which is there in what we call as AWS services. So you can say config, track resources, inventory and changes. Okay, so this is again a very important service, as I mentioned now. So you can get a global view of all this configuration which you generally own. Okay, it's taking some time. Yeah, AWS can record and evaluate configuration of your one-click setup. You can set up all the things which you own. Okay, it will store in the bucket also and confirm. So it will throw all the things. This is the inventory which you hold, right? Okay, so now this is important. This generally is used by the account managers basically. We generally use very less, but still it is used even for performance management. The trusted advisor, again you see this one, trusted advisor is again a security tool Please remember, here we have two kind of supports basically. Trusted advisor has an online tool that provides a real-time guidance to help you. There are about 100 plus services which are there, 100 plus services, 120 or 125. They keep on increasing the kind of what we call as checks, a kind of checks, security checks, or maybe any kind of checks. So the basic support, you see this one, as I mentioned earlier, the basic support that's free for all has access to 7 core trusted security checks. 7 for all these 7. So what are all the 7 which are given is, like you can see this one, it is by the time the documentation is, it is 6, but it is 7. So the S3 bucket permissions, yeah, this is free of cost. You can see overall anyone who has left all open connections, yes, you can get the report. Security groups, specified ports unrestricted, IAM uses, okay, IAM use, that is MFA on root access, whether it is there or not, EBS public snapshots, RDS public snapshots, and all these checks are free, or all this free, okay, for all the users get. But whereas business and enterprise get this 115 trusted advisor checks, apart from this 6 or 7, whatever it is. So what are all the checks? 14 for cost optimization, 17, earlier we have gone through these 5 pillars, right? So please remember the 5 pillars, 17 for security checks, and 24 tolerance, 10 performance, 50 level of service limits. So all these checks can be happening using this AWS trusted advisor. And recommendation. For a complete list of checks, go through this particular one website, Amazon best practice checklist. So the benefit is, yes, I mentioned this, cost optimization, performance. So these are the 5 pillars which are there, which we already spoke earlier. Performance, security, fault tolerance, and service limits. This is about this trusted advisor. This is also one of the security. And the next one, I think this is the last one, I think, AWS inspector. So what is the role of an inspector? Police inspector, what does he do? If there is anything which has happened, then he will go through each and everything, okay, a kind of problem case, and then what he will present all the investigations. Same thing here also. Is an automated security assessment service, assessment that helps to improve the security and compliance of applications deployed. So inspector automatically assess the applications for exposure, vulnerabilities, and deviations from best practices. After performing an assessment, Amazon inspector produces a detailed list of security findings priority by the level of security. These findings can be reviewed directly as part of detailed assessment reports which are available by Amazon inspector. Okay, so this is about what we call as the AWS inspector, Amazon inspector. You have this service also, Amazon inspector. You can say inspector analyzes the security. So these are all the features in security itself. You can get started. Network assessment, host assessment, and also I think you can run weekly, run once. Okay, you can trigger. It will done, and then the report will be present. So that's all about this security concepts in brief, which I wanted to discuss. Yeah, any questions which are there? I know this contains a good amount of theory, but you need to know all the terminology also. You see this Cognito we spoke, guard duty, inspector. Of course, there are some messy services also are there. Certificate manager. Okay, these are to generate the certificates. And key management service is I think yesterday or before that we spoke. So how we create the private and public keys, this is the tool. Key management service also you can go through using this tool. You can create a key, symmetric or asymmetric. Asymmetric means public private, symmetric means like a password. Same key is being used in both directions. So you can generate and you can attach the keys to your this thing. What we call to your infrastructure. This is about your KMS. So I'll also tell you that is about key management system, and HSM is also there. HSM is a hardware security module. Like we did this for Google Authenticator yesterday, right? So that is basically through an app, but you can buy the device also, managed hardware security module, and you can attach to that. So there are pricing also for that HSM. So once you generate that, then automatically with that hardware you can log in or whatever it is you can do for hardware security modules. Okay, HSM. like WAF we spoke about, firewall manager we spoke, artifact we spoke, security of course audit manager, network firewall also we spoke. So all these things are some of the important security, identity and compliance tools which we spoke. Yeah, any quick questions?